Hey everybody, Norma here. Today we're going to talk about safety with your dog. So it's safety while walking in public, walking in your neighborhood, backyard, safety while playing with other dogs, dog parks, those kinds of different things. You have to be really careful with your dog because obviously you don't want them to get injured. So the first thing we'll talk about is if you have a fenced in yard, it's great. Take your dog out there. Make sure they don't have their vest on or any kind of training equipment. They should always wear a collar with a tag, some kind of identification. Your dog should be microchipped. And if you move or change your phone number, please make sure that you change that microchip information. There's been a lot of times over the years that we've found dogs and we've done the microchip scanner. And unfortunately, the people who had the dog didn't update their information. So it was impossible to find the owners. Anytime anybody that's a pet care professional finds a dog, they will automatically use a microchip scanner to see if the dog is registered, and then they can get returned to you pretty quickly. Veterinarians, boarding facilities, all of those places have access to that kind of equipment, so it makes it pretty easy to find the owner. So again, make sure that you've got IDs on your dog, make sure that they've got proper phone numbers and addresses so we can get a hold of you if something does happen with your dog. Backyards are a lot of fun. I would still make sure that you watch your dog while he's out there because dogs can dig pretty quickly and get underneath. And even though they may have never done it before a day in their life, they may have that one time of deciding that they want to get out or get away from the yard or try to find you or whatever it might be. So supervised play in the backyard would be great. Taking your dog for a walk in the neighborhood, you have to be really careful about neighborhood loose dogs or even pets that are in the neighborhood that people let them off leash. You know, not all dogs are friendly. People like to think their dog is friendly. It's happened to me many, many times where somebody will be either walking their dog and say, oh, can I let my dog visit your dog? Or, you know, maybe there's a loose dog and somebody's standing there watching it, but they're watching their dog run towards your dog. And they'll always say, oh, my dog's friendly. Being a dog professional, you know, we look at behavior a little bit differently and we're watching body postures. And so many times that the dogs that's approaching, they're not friendly. And, you know, sometimes the people just want to have that, they want to see if it's going to go okay. And sometimes it just doesn't go okay. You have to be careful because if your dog does get attacked or jumped or whatever you want to call it, sometimes they don't get over that. It's, again, they are attached to you with a leash, so they're confined. Again, how you approach another dog, how dogs approach each other makes a big, big difference. And we're going to cover dog body posturing a little bit later in our videos. But I always tell people, if your dog is on the leash and they have their vest on, please don't let them go up to other dogs and don't have other dogs come up to your dog. I suggest that you guys carry some kind of deterrent. So I like bear spray because it shoots at a very long distance and obviously it's got enough potency to actually stop a dog that might be being aggressive. But I like the fact that you can spray it at a dog, a stray dog at quite some distance. Neighborhoods are hard. A lot of bad things happen in neighborhoods. So I would just really, really caution you about doing that. I'd rather see you guys let your dog play out in your own yard and then take him for walks in public places where service dogs are allowed and non-service dogs are not allowed. When you go to pet stores, you also need to be careful because people, again, they're in there, they're buying toys and all kinds of goodies for their pet, and everybody wants their dog to be friendly. Again, on-leash greetings are places where bad things can happen. There's a lot of different reasons for that. You know, people are holding the dog back. They change the dog's body posture. They they call it the doggy dance where, you know, they sniff each other's sides and their faces and, you know, even their backsides and stuff, and there's all this little dance that goes on between dogs. If you're not allowing that to happen because you're concerned with, gee, I hope this other dog is friendly, it changes the dynamics a lot. And over the years, I've seen so many behavioral problems with that. So on-leash greetings, not a good idea, whether you're at a pet store or out and about in your neighborhood. You can just simply tell people, no, I'm sorry, my dog is working because he's got his vest on. And you may even have to body block because sometimes people don't listen and here comes the dog right up in your dog's face. You may have to like get in between your dog and another dog. So just be careful of, you know, and it can be all breeds of dogs. It's not just, you know, the neighborhood bully that happens to be a pit bull or a pit bull mix or a bulldog mix or whatever it might be. I've seen some pretty aggressive dogs in a lot of different breeds. Little tiny dogs have a tendency to act very, very aggressive. And in the dog world, dogs are not going to look at the size of the dog. So if the dog is a Great Dane and is behaving nicely, he's behaving nicely towards other dogs. If you have a Chihuahua and he's acting like a jerk and he's, you know, trying to be or show himself as being aggressive, dogs look at them as other adult dogs, and it is bad behavior, and they're going to take it that way. So if you have a Great Dane and a Chihuahua's acting poorly, or vice versa, they're not going to look at size. It's just the actual how they are going to react to each other. So it's a little more complicated than a lot of people think it is. We have bred a lot of dogs through breeding programs to have them be a little bit more dog friendly. So most of the time you're looking at golden retrievers being dog friendly. Most of the time you're looking at labs, maybe, the doodles, those kinds of things. They're a little bit more dog friendly, but that's individuals. I mean, there are labradoodles and golden retrievers and Labradors that can be very dog aggressive as well. So if you're not comfortable, please just say, no, I'm sorry, they're working right now. If you want to have a doggy buddy in the neighborhood that your dog sees on a fairly continual basis, I think that's a good idea. Make sure that you bring the dogs over, put them in a fenced-in area, take their service dog gear off, obviously supervised play, but again, doggy buddies are fantastic. I think groups of 3 are wonderful, groups of 5, no more than 5 dogs at a time. Dog parks can be very, very dangerous unless it is some kind of private dog park or dog club to where they've got people who are watching and monitoring the dog's behavior. For our dogs, we say absolutely not to go to dog parks at all because it is dangerous for the dogs. Also with germs, I mean, all the dogs there, you don't know if they've had their vaccines, you don't know if they've been dewormed, you just don't know what's going on with those dogs. Again, it can be a health risk, the same as even a physical risk, because it only takes one time. Tell people that I've seen a lot of really good dogs get ruined just by one incident of a dog attacking them, because the dog, again, is going to be looking over his shoulder the rest of his life because he thinks he's going to get mugged. Be very, very careful about dog parks. I really prefer that you guys don't go unless it's some kind of private association or some place where you guys can meet somebody that, again, the dogs need to have relationships. So this whole thing of let's put a dog in that they've never seen for the afternoon and let them all be buddies goes against a lot of pack nature. Got to remember, dogs are pack animals. A pack is consistent. It doesn't change, it doesn't have like, come on in, you're a new guy, we love you. That's not the way packs work. Again, they've got to know each other, they've got to have a relationship, and then the dynamics that have to be there to where they're allowed to be dogs and they're allowed to have those relationships, but it needs to be something where they know each other fairly consistently.